Mr. Platinum Man, 1989. Now, I haven't made a video in about 4 years, 3 years, not sure. And even then, it was one video every few months. I always had intentions of making more wrestling videos, but I never got around to doing it. Now, over the years, I haven't been able to keep up with every promotion. I used to, back in the day, keep up with ROH, TNA, WWE, and as much AAA as I can. But the truth is that all that has fell off. The only company that I've really faithfully watched since then has been Impact Wrestling, TNA. I do keep up with the results of most WWE shows, but I fell off from watching ROH going back to 2010 when Austin Aries was the champion. Please forgive my cat. Austin Aries was the champion, facing off against Tyler Black. Some of you guys might know him as Seth Rollins. I was actually at this show. Back in the day, I wouldn't miss any of the New York shows. This particular card has Kevin Steen, aka Kevin Owens, Colt Cabana, Delirious, Kenny King, the Briscoe brothers, El Generico, Davey Richards, Butcher, Joey Ryan, which I didn't even know of back then. I didn't know about him until the Gut Check challenge, but apparently I witnessed him wrestling live in New York. The Kings of Wrestling, Brian Kendrick, Roderick Strong. That's how far back it's been since I've watched ROH programming regularly. There comes the cat. Anyways, the point of this is that yesterday Destination America announced that they are going to be airing Ring of Honor Wrestling. At first, it kind of hurt my chest a little bit, especially with all the rumors about Impact Wrestling being canceled at the end of the season in September. So it kind of hurt my chest a little bit. But when I saw when they would be airing it on Wednesday nights leading into TNA, I got very excited. Only because we haven't had anything like this that I know of, at least. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know somebody said that TNN used to do it with with ECW and WWE. But me personally, I never experienced two promotions kind of connected this way. A lot of people are speculating that Destination America will have them do some kind of cross promotion, and it makes me think back to when TNA was with Spike TV and they had to work with Bellator. So that being said, it would only make sense that two companies that are actually in the same genre will cross promote. Now, I don't think this necessarily means the end of TNA. I think Destination America is going to see how this works. They have been dedicating themselves to promoting TNA. Even after the announcement, they still have been actively promoting TNA. And by announcement, I meant the announcement of the report that TNA was getting canceled. They've still been actively advertising TNA and Impact Wrestling. I think they're testing the waters, seeing how this goes. And personally, I think it's going to pay off better than most people think. Only because Ring of Honor has a cult following, a following that not all those Ring of Honor fans like TNA, and not all of the TNA fans like Ring of Honor. But them being connected on this network is automatically going to make some of them change their mind a little bit. Because they're already going to be on the network. They're already going to be on the channel. They're already going to be in the mood for more wrestling when that first hour is ending. And they're going to get that through Impact Wrestling. And vice versa. There's even rumors that they're going to have a replay of Ring of Honor play after Impact Wrestling. Which, again, if you started watching at 9 p.m., which I might have to do just because of my work schedule, you'll be able to catch the Ring of Honor episode that you missed. I think this is great news for wrestling. It's been very exciting to see all these different companies acquire TV deals like Lucha Underground with El Rey and Now, Ring of Honor going to be airing syndicated episodes on Destination America, in addition to whatever other airings they already have. Global Force Wrestling is going to be pitching themselves to TV. NXT eventually will make it to TV. It's going to continue to grow, and who knows how big NXT itself as a brand is going to grow. I personally, if you've never seen any of my videos in the past, it doesn't matter. This is a relaunch. I don't expect any of those subscribers that I had from way before to even remotely remember who I was or give a fuck, to be honest. But none of that matters because it's 2015 and this news has finally pushed me to do what I finally should have done a long time ago. That sentence didn't make much sense, but it's okay. This announcement has pushed me to finally come back and talk wrestling on YouTube. I'm the biggest wrestling fan in the world. I like to count my blessings and look at the positive things in life. So when I watch WWE, if there's a million things I don't like, I focus on the things that I do like. For example, I caught Raw, I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was the night after the pay-per-view. And New Day came out, and it was nice to see them, on my TV getting airtime, tag team wrestling, but their promo sounded so scripted, as we know with most WWE promos. But there are still wrestlers that are able to not make it sound scripted, and with them that was not the case. It sounded extremely like they were talking like robots, back and forth to each other. That being said, I still like the match that followed that promo and some of the action we saw later on. I'm a big fan of promos and in-ring segments. Some people only like wall-to-wall wrestling, but that gets boring, personally. That's my personal opinion. It's right if you have your own opinion. So, that being said, to go back to this ROH and TNA announcement, I'm finally going to start watching some ROH again after all these years. What kind of made me stop watching ROH back in 2010 was I started to see the trend of wrestlers leaving and leaving and leaving. In TNA, we've had some wrestlers that have been loyal for over a decade, or almost a decade. And I think of Team 3D, Kurt Angle, Sting. Obviously, Sting's in WWE now, but he was already working with TNA since 2003. He already was working with them for 12 years since the first time he actually worked with them. So again, that being said, in TNA we had some loyal members, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, and we saw these guys grow. And in ROH there are still some loyal members like the Briscoe brothers, but a lot of their core talent moved on to bigger and better things, and that's great. Daniel Bryan comes to mind, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness before he had to retire, Kevin Owens, obviously, Seth Rollins, obviously. And once I started to really see that trend, I mean, Tyler Black was only champion for a few months when, at least this is how I remember it, when it was announced that he was heading to WWE. It kind of was disheartening and made me not want to follow the product anymore. Austin Aries went back to TNA around that time as well. And it made it difficult to continue watching ROH just because I felt if I invested my energy into a character or really got interested and he got really good, in the back of my mind I would know that there's a high chance that he would go to WWE, and we've been seeing that the last few years. And I'm actually happy that WWE it has this new push with indie talent, and a lot of people still don't think much of it, but they're going to see in the next coming years that all these guys are going to be making up the main roster and taking up most of the spotlight because they have a different kind of talent than the guys that never did the indie scene and just went through the WWE developmental systems and territories. Now, again, so flash forward to 2015. I know that Jay Lethal is a part of the Ring of Honor roster, and that almost made me start tuning in again, just because if you were a fan of my old videos, Black Machismo was my favorite character, yeah. And I was a big Macho Man fan, had Macho Madness running all through my veins from the bottom to the top, all the way till it popped. But he ended up leaving TNA, and that shit broke my heart. So when he started working with ROH, it almost made me want to tune in, but I didn't. AJ Styles, when he started working with ROH again, made me want to tune in, but I didn't. Bad Influence, when they started working with ROH again, it made me want to tune in, but I didn't. All these things were happening, and it made me want to tune in, but I haven't. And I didn't go on my way to follow the shows. I found it very difficult to keep up with. But now, with this new move to Destination America, I know what I'm doing every Wednesday. And this has even inspired me to finally catch some Lucha Underground. I have not seen a single match from Lucha Underground. I know it's critically acclaimed at the moment, and I have faith that when I do watch it for the first time, I'm going to be very impressed and I'm going to enjoy it. I don't like to just jump and watch things just because everybody's talking about it. I like to let it find me in its own path, if that makes sense. So, until a couple months ago, I really didn't have cable. I had it off for a couple years just because the only thing I really loved to watch on cable was Impact Wrestling, and I was able to find that online. Now, when I did get cable, I almost forgot about Lucha Underground and all these other things that I can find and can watch now. So it wasn't until this ROH announcement that it really hit me that I have access to Lucha Underground. I have access. Sorry, excuse me.